Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a health challenge that's, well, incredibly common, often unspoken, but it can dramatically disrupt daily life for many men as they age. We're talking about prostate health. Those frustrating symptoms, the ones that can steal your sleep, chip away at your confidence, just make life feel a bit more complicated.
Yeah, it really affects quality of life.
So our mission in this deep dive, well, we've got this stack of shared sources, right? Some fascinating personal notes, recent research. And we're going to try and distill some practical, maybe even surprising insights on how to proactively support prostate health.
Right.
Specifically, focusing on managing, maybe even preventing the symptoms of an enlarged prostate, BPH.
That's the goal.
Now, you might be thinking, isn't this just inevitable, part of getting older, something you just live with?
A lot of people assume that.
But when we really dug into the sources, what genuinely surprised us, and it often gets overlooked, was this powerful strategy, almost counterintuitive, gentle, specific movements, things that directly address the mechanics of prostate health much more effectively than you might think.
It's a great point, and the research really underscores that. I mean, you look at findings from Harvard's Health Professionals follow-up study.
Right, I saw that.
It shows it's not about pushing yourself to exhaustion. The evidence strongly suggests that even, low to moderate intensity physical activity can yield significant benefits.
So not CrossFit then?
Haha, probably not necessary for this, no. The real power seems to come from consistency and having a targeted approach.
Exactly. And we're going to introduce you to the core focus here. 4 specific, gentle exercises. These were apparently a total game changer for one man we read about. Really transformed his journey from struggle to strength. And like you said, this isn't about heavy lifting or, grueling workouts. It's simple, accessible movements. So, okay, let's unpack this. What if the solution to a better quality of life was, well, simpler than you ever imagined?
That's the intriguing question.
We looked really closely at the journey of this one individual. He was 52, grappling with pretty significant prostate issues.
Okay.
Described feeling constantly exhausted, getting up maybe 4 or 5 times a night.
Wow, that's tough.
Yeah, and just generally lacking the confidence he used to have. His doctor confirmed BPH, enlarged prostate. Not cancerous, thankfully, but definitely impacting his whole life.
And that's such a common story, unfortunately. His urologist had mentioned exercise, right?
Yeah.
As a potential way to help.
Exactly. Mentioned that physically active men tend to experience fewer BPH symptoms.
Yeah, and that lines up perfectly with studies like that Harvard one we mentioned. It found clear benefits even from just, regular walking. Pretty accessible stuff.
It really is compelling how consistently our sources hit that point. The general recommendation is often, 30 minutes of exercise daily to help prevent BPH or slow its growth?
Right, standard advice.
But the breakthrough for this guy, he was realizing it didn't have to be intense, not marathon training. In fact, the gentleness and the specificity of the movements were the key. Consistency, not intensity. That became his mantra.
And that's where a lot of men might get it wrong. They think harder is better.
Right. Push through the pain.
Exactly. But it's not about pushing limits here. It's about how these specific movements target the supporting structures and systems around the prostate. Many assume you need high-intensity workouts for any health benefit. But for prostate health specifically, it seems to be about maintaining optimal function and reducing symptoms through consistent, gentle activation.
Okay, so let's dive into these. Let's call them the Fantastic 4 exercises, the ones that became the foundation for his transformation. First one, exercise number 1, the pelvic floor bridge.
Okay.
He initially thought, how is lying on my back going to help my prostate? But apparently it quickly became a favorite.
Well, the key insight here is understanding the pelvic floor. These muscles, they're like a hammock at the base of your pelvis.
Right, supporting everything down there.
Exactly. Bladder, bowels, prostate. The bridge pose directly targets these pelvic floor muscles, plus your core and glutes. Strengthening this whole region is really vital for bladder control, pelvic stability, which directly impacts managing BPH symptoms. It can even improve nerve health in the area.
And the technique sounds remarkably simple. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet hip-width apart. Lift your hips toward the ceiling, and as you do, focus on squeezing those pelvic floor muscles, like trying to stop the flow midstream.
That's the common analogy, yeah. It helps isolate the right muscles.
He started holding for just 5 seconds, but pretty quickly got up to 10, 15 seconds. Did about 15 reps 3 times a week.
That sounds manageable.
Totally. And the immediate benefit he noticed, get this, within just 2 weeks, he was actually sleeping through the night again.
Wow, 2 weeks. That's fast.
Isn't it? He said it was like reclaiming a part of his life he thought was gone.
Yeah.
And a bonus, his persistent lower back pain, which he just chalked up to aging.
Started getting better.
Yeah, it started to ease too. He said it was incredible how connected everything felt.
That makes sense. The core, the glutes, the pelvic floor, it's all interconnected.
Okay, so building on that core and pelvic strength from the bridge, the sources then led us to another maybe surprising movement, modified squats.
Ah, squats. But modified, you say?
Yeah, definitely not your typical heavy barbell gym squats.
Yeah.
These are much more about mobility and precise pelvic floor activation.
Okay. Well, looking at the bigger picture, squats generally are excellent for the lower body muscles, including the pelvic floor. Plus, these kinds of gentle strength exercises can play a role in maintaining optimal testosterone levels, and that's significant for overall prostate health, too.
Right.
The focus here, it sounds like, is on that mind-muscle connection, not just how deep you go.
Right.
Making sure you're activating the right areas, improving circulation where it counts.
Exactly. You stand with feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly out. As you lower down, and only as far as feels comfortable, the key is to intentionally engage those pelvic floor muscles.
Pulling them up and in.
Yeah, like sitting back into an invisible chair while simultaneously pulling those muscles up and in. He started barely bending his knees, apparently, and gradually worked up to about 90 degrees comfortably.
Progression, not perfection.
Right, doing 10 to 12 reps, just twice a week.
Okay. Still sounds very doable.
Okay, exercise number 3. This brought us into the world of yoga, the cobbler pose, also known as bound angle pose.
Baddha Konasana, yes.
Now, I have to admit, when I saw cobbler pose in the notes, I thought, is this a shoemaking tutorial?
Understandable.
But it turns out our subject, this 52-year-old construction foreman, remember, found it incredibly effective, even though he was skeptical at first.
Well, the profound impact of cobbler pose often comes from its dual benefit. It helps release tension in the pelvic region, which is often really tight.
Okay.
But it also gently strengthens the muscles there, too. And physiologically, these kinds of flexibility exercises can significantly help relieve stress and reduce inflammation.
The stress and inflammation connection.
Exactly. We know chronic stress and inflammation can actually make prostate symptoms worse. So incorporating deep breathing, like he did, only enhances those calming, healing benefits.
You describe it as a reset button for his whole pelvic area. Said he'd sit with his back against a wall for support, soles of his feet together, gently pressing his knees toward the ground.
That's a classic setup.
Held it for 2 to 3 minutes daily, focused on deep belly breathing. It became his morning meditation time, actually, a relaxing start to his day.
That sounds lovely and functional.
Which brings us to the last one, exercise number 4, purposeful walking. Now, this one seems incredibly simple. Obvious, maybe?
Well, walking is fundamental.
But there's a specific intentional approach here that our sources found really effective for prostate health. It's not just a casual stroll in the park.
Right. This highlights the power of that consistent, low to moderate intensity activity we talked about. That Harvard study specifically pointed out regular walking at a moderate pace gives significant benefits for prostate health, often because it just naturally improves circulation and reduces overall body inflammation. But the key here, like you said, is the purpose and integrating specific techniques into the walk.
That intention is absolutely key. He walks for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Standard stuff so far.
Okay.
But here's the kicker. Every 10 minutes or so, he incorporates what he called walking kegels.
Integrating the pelvic floor work. Smart.
Yeah. He engages his pelvic floor muscles for about 10 steps, then releases for 10 steps, and repeats that pattern for a minute or 2.
Interesting. Actively engaging while moving.
And the results were dramatic. He went from 5 nighttime bathroom trips down to maybe 1 or 2.
Huge difference.
Said his stream became stronger, felt a complete emptying. But the biggest change he noted, beyond the physical stuff, a huge boost in confidence, a real sense of reclaiming control over his body.
And it's truly fascinating how these cumulative effects, they really do extend far beyond just the immediate prostate symptoms, don't they?
Absolutely.
This kind of holistic approach led to, well, improved sleep, obviously, but also increased energy, better mood, even reduced blood pressure for him.
You mentioned playing better golf, too.
There you go. Better performance in other activities like golf or softball. When you zoom out, These gentle, consistent movements contribute to overall well-being in so many ways. Better blood flow to the pelvic region, stronger supporting muscles, helping maintain optimal testosterone levels, and significantly reducing that systemic stress and inflammation throughout the body. It all adds up.
It really does. Now, what if you're listening and thinking, okay, this sounds, well, too simple to actually work?
A valid skepticism?
We completely
Yeah.
get that. I mean, our subject initially thought the same thing.
Right.
But sometimes the simplest solutions really are the most powerful. And in this case, they're not only backed by solid research, as you pointed out, but by this really remarkable personal transformation story.
Exactly. And the real question, I think, is why wait? If you're experiencing issues, or even if you just want to be proactive, why wait? Our final piece of advice, really, is to stress the importance of starting today. Seriously. Even if it's just a 10-minute walk, incorporating a few of those walking Tegels,
Just start somewhere.
just start somewhere. Begin now, rather than waiting for symptoms to potentially worsen. This isn't about becoming some fitness guru overnight. It's about taking control of your health, your life, through accessible, consistent action.
That's a great point. And it's also really crucial to remember, isn't it, that while exercise is clearly a powerful piece of the puzzle,
Absolutely.
it is not a replacement for proper medical care. We really can't emphasize that enough.
Definitely not.
Regular consultations with your doctor are essential, especially if you are experiencing symptoms or before starting any new exercise routine, frankly. Get checked out.
Absolutely critical advice. Talk to your doctor.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? Well, maybe imagine what your future self will thank you for if you start taking these small, consistent steps today. What kind of vitality, what kind of freedom could you potentially unlock down the road? Something to think about.